Before a while, Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi, when he met with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, said only one sentence that summarized the entire phase we are in. Allow me to tell you that indeed madness is ruling the world today. Donald Trump and his unnatural statements, China and its dream of leading the world, artificial intelligence imposing itself on humanity by force, and Russia, where it has become clear that its war is not only with Europe and America, but also with Ukraine. The unexpected and illogical events happening every day in our region and around the world. And finally, the personality of Elon Musk, which made everyone ask if this man, who appears foolish, is really the richest and most powerful man in the world. All these details lead us to one conclusion, which I hope does not become a reality. I say that World War III is at our doorstep. Of course, this is not my statement. It's the opinion of decision makers living on this planet, which has truly gone mad. For those seeing me for the first time, I am YARNIX, and I talk about everything strange and mysterious on planet Earth. In this video, I will discuss everything happening in the world today. What is the plan for the coming days? You will discover that the lie of World War III has turned into a reality. There are people preparing and working towards this war because, according to their books, after this war, the world will be destroyed, and the next 1,000 years will be ruled by them. So do not be surprised by Trump's statements or Russia and China's actions. Do not be surprised that Elon Musk has become part of the American authority because all of this is within their plan. Musk will become the Prime Minister of the world after the destruction of all government. Do not be surprised by what I am about to tell you now. I want everyone to share this video so that everyone can see and understand the plan that is unfolding because everyone is afraid of the coming days. This time, not only might the internet disappear, but even the phone in your hand could become a useless piece of junk. As usual, before we start, you must know that all stories, no matter how similar, are not like the ones I tell you. Everything we will discuss in today's video might not have happened if Kamala Harris had won the US election, but Trump exceeded all expectations and achieved a sweeping victory. American society considered Trump's win as a victory for the man and the American dream because this man, with his provocative and domineering statements, embodies the American dream, which we will soon understand more clearly. You need to understand how things are going and how something called a world war happens. If we go back in time to 1914, when World War I occurred, the story everyone knows is that the war started after the assassination of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Of course, everyone knows that the assassination succeeded by chance, and that the incident happened in Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. After the assassination, Austria declared war on Serbia, and then the planet erupted in a war involving all countries. But the question that no one asked or thought about is whether it is reasonable for a world war lasting 4 years, involving 70 countries, and resulting in the death of 22 million people to occur just because one person was assassinated. The answer is that history and all global events confirm that this is impossible. To further confirm this, let me give you an example from a recent period. At the beginning of 2020, America assassinated Qasem Soleimani, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. At that time, relations were very tense in the region. The circumstances and data all indicated that any wrong move could destroy the planet, yet nothing happened. This scenario repeated several times, and each time we said that war would break out, but still, nothing happened. Therefore, the idea that a world war could start simply because one person was assassinated is an illogical hypothesis and did not happen. Believe me, even if Trump or Putin were assassinated, this would not be the sole reason for a world war. So, what were the reasons for World War I? Briefly and without beating around the bush, it was influence and power. At that time, the Ottoman Empire was in its final days, and the Balkan countries were not under anyone's control, despite being rich in resources. Therefore, a war was necessary to divide the Balkan countries among the major powers, with each taking its share. The same situation repeated regarding Africa. The tension was very high at that time between France, Italy, Germany, and England over areas of control and influence. Each country wanted its share of Africa. Look at the coincidence. Without planning, from the Balkans, and just hours later, Austria declared war on Serbia. Within a few days, the whole world was divided and participated in the war. Is it possible that all this scenario happened by chance? For me, this talk is worth nothing. I see that this is not true at all. The truth is that everything was planned and everyone was striving to impose their control and influence. Everyone wanted their share of the world map. As you know, at the end of every war, the conflicting parties sit at the negotiating table and sign an agreement. At that time, they signed the Treaty of Versailles, through which it was determined who would control the planet. The same thing repeated in World War II. Germany, led by Hitler, invaded Poland, and the world split into two sides, and the war broke out, with all countries participating. Let's ask the same question again. Was Germany's invasion of Poland the main reason for World War II? A war that lasted 5 years and resulted in the death of 60 million people? Of course, the answer is no. Influence and the economy were the main reasons for the war. As with every war, after 3% of the planet's population died, the warring parties sat at the negotiating table and signed a new agreement for world leadership. And the story ended as if nothing had happened. From everything I've told you, I want you to understand that the reasons for wars may appear different on the surface, but in reality, the main and hidden reason remains the same: influence and power. On November 9, 2024, Donald Trump was officially announced as the winner of the U.S. elections. This victory came after 3 failed assassination attempts, 2 of which were public, and one that has not been announced yet, with its details still unknown. According to analysts, the 2024 elections were the most important and famous in the history of the United States because the whole world was waiting to see who would win. The choice between Kamala Harris and Trump was going to make a 180-degree difference. Harris is Biden's assistant and from the same party, so she is like him. Everyone considered Biden the worst president in U.S. history due to his mistakes, blunders, and irrational behavior and statements. Analysts believe this was the reason for the decline of the U.S. role and the tarnishing of its image. Therefore, the world was faced with 2 options. Either Harris comes and continues in the same manner, and gradually America loses its importance and role, leading to China's rise and dominance over the world in a few years, or Trump wins and the personality of the American man emerges, leading to a real world war. Everything I've told you from the beginning of this video until now might not have been discussed if Trump had not won the election. The reason, briefly, is that the planet is experiencing the same conditions as during World Wars I and II, but the difference is that this time there is no one like Hitler, a reckless and crazy leader who could declare war on the whole world. Logic and reason dictate, and everyone thinks so. But today, everyone discovered that Trump is this person, and he has become president with the power to make decisions. Regarding the economy and influence, as we said, the situation is exactly similar to previous wars. On one hand, there are new regions full of resources that need to be divided and exploited, and on the other hand, there are new players striving to rule the world. The new regions are, first, the European Union, which has become ready for division after Britain left it and is currently in a state of weakness. Second, the Mediterranean Sea and the treasures found in it that have not been exploited yet, and everyone is fighting over them. Third, African countries that have come out from under French control and are going through problems and conflicts are also ready for division and distribution of their wealth among the major powers. Fourth, and most importantly, a new power has emerged in the world, represented by Arab countries. Despite their rise and growth, their situation is not stable at all. The smart one today is the one who takes this power to his side. Listen to me till the end, and be sure that the future of Arab countries is bright and will have weight in the balance of power in the future. I've told you about the wealth waiting for the world to divide and distribute. As for the conflicting parties, they are the controlling countries. Any human in the world knows today that power is divided between 2 sides, Russia and China on one side, and America and Britain on the other. The rest of the world's countries are merely pawns. The plan was proceeding very smoothly during Biden's rule. There was a possibility to divide the treasure peacefully without war, but when Trump took over, everything changed. The reason, briefly, is that Biden and his party knew that the balance of power in the world had changed, and they had plans to deal with the situation, but with peace and a softer policy, negotiations and consultations to divide things properly. In other words, we handed over world leadership, but we want our share of everything to remain protected. This is what everyone saw in the gentle threats and statements that were happening between America on one side and China and Russia on the other. Therefore, all statistics confirmed that if Harris had won the election, there would have been direct tension between China and America, but there would not have been a war. There would have been continued threats, laws, and sanctions imposed, and then they would sit at the negotiating table and resolve everything peacefully. But as soon as Trump arrived, the entire equation changed. The threat became direct, and decisions were coming out one after another. Trump knows that China and Russia have become powerful, but he frankly said, without beating around the bush, "We will not give up world leadership. Either we run this planet or it will be destroyed entirely." Biden was content with a soft agreement, but Trump said, "It's us and the rest of the world against the wall." That's why the tone changed, and everyone started threatening with nuclear weapons. It no longer mattered to anyone on this planet. What increased the tension and stress of this situation were Trump's statements before and after he took office. He wants to annex Panama to America without any law or right allowing this. He wants to annex Canada to America. He wants to buy Greenland from Denmark. He wants to impose sanctions on several countries. He wants to stop billions of dollars in annual aid that America pays. He wants to impose customs duties on China and many other countries. Not only that, but he also manipulates public opinion against certain individuals inside the United States, working to appoint an entire team from his side so he can do whatever he wants without anyone opposing him, neither from outside America nor from within. With the chaos Trump created in just 2 weeks, the world's countries did not remain silent, starting with China. China imposed strict warnings and regulations on American products. China and many countries took measures against Trump's insane policies. Of course, remember that Trump has not completed even 1 month in power, yet he has driven the whole world crazy. The problem is that if you search for the real reason behind this global tension, you will be surprised to find that the real reason, in short, is a chip the size of your small fingernail. These small chips control the entire world today, and whoever possesses them will own the planet for the next 100 years. Of course, the primary source of semiconductors in the world is Taiwan Island. 91% of the semiconductors in the world come from Taiwan. The whole world, with all its advancements, produces only 99%, and 91% of them come from Taiwan Island. Semiconductors are used today in everything electronic, from the smallest and simplest calculator or smartwatch, and so on up to nuclear missiles and battleships. As we said, 91% of these semiconductors come from Taiwan Island. Therefore, the real war today is not in Europe, Africa, or the Arab world. The real war will be in Taiwan, and whoever controls this island will control the entire world. That's why in the news you always hear that China says it will always reclaim Taiwan and annex it, and America keeps threatening that it will destroy the whole planet if this happens. We have always seen this in the news and continue to wonder about the story of Taiwan, why China says it wants to take it back, and why America considers this issue a red line. Between these major powers, a soft power game is being played, unnoticed by anyone. Billions of dollars are being spent to ignite this war. Therefore, I want the conspiracy theory group to pay close attention now, because it's your turn, and what I'm about to say concerns you specifically. I will introduce you to people who are waiting for this war and are always fanning the flames of strife so that it ignites. I will tell you their reasons, and you will be shocked that the matter relates to you and the Antichrist. But before that, you need to know some facts. I will give you some information to confirm that the matter is very close. Within a few months, the war will ignite, and the number of participants will be more than 100 countries. During the presidential election period, Trump was saying frankly, "I will put China in its place. If I become president, I will wipe Iran off the map." He made hostile statements and promises. Brothers, as inevitable and important as the matter is to him, his official picture during his first term showed him smiling. His first decision was to change the picture and replace it with this one. The man told you, "This is me, and with this face, I will face the world." The photographer who took these pictures said that Trump copied this expression from British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who won World War II. When Trump was asked during the election period if there would be a war, he told them, "Of course, and we are ready for it." On the other hand, Joe Biden, who always smiles, told them, "If war is imposed on us, we are also ready for it." He said that all our secret and non-secret weapons are ready to end the war. The next day, Putin made the same statement saying, "If we lose the war, we will activate the doomsday system." The doomsday system consists of 50 nuclear warheads directed at all regions of the world, capable of destroying the entire planet. If this were a football game in the street, they wouldn't talk about it with such ease and simplicity. None of them cares about the world anymore. If it were humans making the decision to launch a nuclear strike in past crises and at the last moment, the nuclear weapon would not be used. But machines have no feelings and do not care about the end of the entire world. Therefore, the matter is very, very complicated. As for Europe, it is caught between the two powers, and everyone is pushing it around. Today, Europe faces two very difficult choices, either to remain silent and endure Trump's insane decisions, or to say no. If Europe remains silent, Trump will withdraw all their money and destroy their economy completely. If they say no, America will give Russia the green light, and Russia will annihilate all of Europe. At the beginning of February this year, information leaked confirming that the satellites belonging to SpaceX, owned by Elon Musk, could potentially be platforms for launching laser projectiles. These projectiles can easily burn any place in the world. There is a widespread rumor that the California fires were caused by Elon Musk, and the goal of these fires was to build a smart city in place of the burned forests, meaning they burned the green vegetation and destroyed the planet to build a futuristic city. However, there is no evidence to support this claim. As a precautionary measure, the Chinese painted their rooftops blue. According to studies, rumors, and claims, the color blue reflects these rays. If you look on Google Maps, you might see these rooftops clearly. Here we reach the most important question: who benefits from igniting a war across this entire planet? The group of the Blue Star, whose name I won't mention so this video doesn't get flagged, has a prophecy stating that their state will not last more than 80 years, 8 decades. After that, they will return to wandering the earth, and their unity will be broken again because it is forbidden for them to establish a state of their own. To break this curse, they must sacrifice 5 red cows. In a full video on the channel, we discuss this topic extensively. You might think the idea is silly and illogical, but this is indeed what is happening. The project is known, announced, and has specific rituals. Major powers have been working on it for years. The important point is that the group of the Blue Star has entered the 8th decade. If they do not sacrifice the red cows quickly, their state will vanish. Is there another solution? Yes, there is. This solution is called the Third Desolation. By the Third Desolation, a great war involving 2/3 of humanity is meant. This has happened twice, World War I and World War II. If the third war occurs, more than 2/3 of humanity will participate, and 1/3 of them will be wiped out. They will rule the remaining 2/3 until the appearance of the Messiah or Savior. This Savior is the Antichrist, who will eliminate all religions and rule the Jews, followed by the entire world. Angels will rain down cooked birds, and their clothing will be woven. Their total reign will last for 1,000 years, after which life will end, and they will go to heaven alone, because they are the chosen people of God. You might say, what kind of nonsense is this? But if you revisit the video about the Antichrist and the video about the red cows, you will discover that it is all true, and this is how they actually think. Everything they are doing is happening openly, and nothing is hidden. The idea is that the end of the 8th decade is approaching, and they don't have much time left. There is no solution other than for the war to happen as soon as possible. That's why I told you it could be in a few months or even weeks, because the matter is very important. If this war does not happen, their state will certainly vanish.